Yo, what's up, everyone? Metro Drive, episode 92. So today we're talking about the cool kids, and I've been thinking about this a lot because I wasn't a cool kid in school coming up. And so what was important, and I think about, because I got a 5-year-old, right, and I got a 1-year-old coming up, and the one side of my brain's like I want them to fit in. I want them to have friends. I think every parent wants that for their child. But then the other side of my brain, like if I look at all of the cool kids growing up, now Facebook has allowed us the luxury of seeing history play out. And man, you can call it karma, you can call it providence, you can call it whatever you want. It's awesome. Okay, it's awesome. So I love being able to see a lot of that play out. But so on the one hand, I want my daughter, I think we want our kids to fit in, but the other hand, we want them to be independent thinkers. We don't want them to be followers. We don't want them to just follow the crowd and be influenced by peer pressure. I think that's sort of the divide that we have as parents, right? Like I want them to have friends, but I don't want them to be manipulated or controlled by their friends. I want them to be independent thinkers. I want them to get along with people and voice their opinion, but I still want them to have friends and not play alone in a bubble somewhere. I think that is the divide. And the greatest thing that I would give this advice to a 29-year-old. I do give this advice to a 29-year-old. And it would be, you need to have a foundation of pillars, a moral compass or code or ethics, things that you stand by. Like things that you stand by and you hold to and you live your life by no matter what you do. Pirates had this. Vikings had this. Like pillagers had this. Like any walks of life, they've got some. Now, whether they verbalize it or not is entirely different. And then you get into, so I want to live my life this way. In Metro Jiu-Jitsu, we refer to this as black belt mindset. Things like integrity and honesty and eye contact and manners and self-discipline and hygiene, and the list goes on. And so these are things that you want to reinforce, right? These are things that you want to reinforce, and I think that no one's got an issue with hygiene watching, I would imagine. And so these are things you want to reinforce, and you want your kids to reinforce on their own. And that confidence comes from knowing that it's okay. And I have this conversation a lot with my wife and family and peer. If somebody won't interact with me, won't associate with me, wants nothing to do with me because of those pillars, they didn't belong in my circle. And that's okay. There's like how many billions or hundreds of millions of people on the planet. I'm going to find somebody else. We did a video about this a couple weeks ago, probably a month ago, about finding your tribe. Okay, like so giving your kid the confidence to make that decision, because how many times has a kid wound up in circuit court or municipal's court, and it's like, Your Honor, he fell in with the wrong crowd. Well, you know what? There's a lot of consequences for falling in with the wrong crowd. Imagine if the wrong crowd tried to lure them, and he was like, nope, hard pass. That's not how I roll. And then it was okay to wait for his people to roll around or her people to roll around or what have you. So that's really, really important. And I think that's important, man. I think anybody out there watching could learn from that. Like if somebody's not going to associate with you, doesn't want anything to do with you because of what you believe or your pillars, they can't be respectful and treat you accordingly like a human. I think we can all agree they don't deserve your time, your energy, your mental space. They don't deserve any of that. So the confidence, though, to be able to enforce that, because that stings, right? If you're out of the cool kid group, well, now you're kicked out. But what's beautiful about that is, like, we have none of that. I'm answering calls now about summer camp, at Metro Summer Camp and Jiu-Jitsu program. We have no bullies, right? And it's very clear about what our culture is about. And we have kids from, like, the nerdy Peter Parker kids to, like, the young athletic studs, and they all get along really, really well. I wish I had something like that growing up. But I think everyone needs to hear this. And so that's how I would handle the cool kids. If the cool kids are down with what you believe, awesome. We'll hang out with them. We'll get down. If the cool kids aren't, and they're trying to negatively influence you, whoever those cool kids look like, your peers, your boss, your sorority group, frat party, whatever, guys from college, Okay, if they're trying to go against what you're doing, they don't need your mental space. Guys, I'm Coach David with Metro Jiu-Jitsu. As always, I look forward to seeing you on the mats.